G'day, mate. 40 here. So I just saw a comment from a friend like, what has Rabbi Luke been preaching about lately? Seems like he's abandoned activism to discuss mental health. Well, there's a time and a place, right? I love the guidelines from the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So activism mode versus understanding mode, very different modes. So when you're trying to get something done, your focus of attention tends to narrow, and your interest in understanding something may even narrow just down to, okay, I'm interested in understanding to whatever extent it will help me with my activism. But when you're in activism mode, you're just going to narrow your thinking, and you're going to be very tempted to look at people as means to an end rather than ends in themselves. And you probably won't spend that much time trying to understand beyond what's necessary for your activism. So we don't want to be thinking, like driven all the time, right? Sometimes we just want to be in awareness, right? So I haven't been particularly in activism mode for many, many months. I enjoy just being in a state of awareness of the world around me, just trying to understand the world around me without need for passing judgments or unnecessary judgments. I'm enjoying not needing to have my mind race to try to figure things out and to propound solutions. So I notice when I'm simply in awareness rather than judgment that there's less tension in my back and my neck and in my shoulders and in my face and around my jaw and around my eyes and around my lips and in my forehead. Right? See, this is the forehead of a man who's in awareness, not reaction and judgment. This is the face of someone who simply wants to understand. Look at this face. It just wants to understand, bro. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to do activism right now. I just want to be aware of the world around me, understand the world around me. Breathing comes easier. I naturally breathes deeper, more efficiently. Movement is more efficient. All my actions tend to be more efficient when I'm in awareness rather than in judgment. So I've pretty much gone through my life regarding the outside world as the enemy to be debunked. And so like my habitual reactions to authority, right, would be heavily programmed by my instinctive reactions to authority when I was a small child, right? So I was hit a lot when I was a child, when I was in foster care. So I developed a lot of reactions of just instinctive hatred towards authority and just wanted to treat the outside world as the enemy to be debunked. And this distrustful, hyperactive, hyper-aware, hyper-vigilant, hyper-alert mode did not serve me. Now, I became addicted to this mode because when I was a kid and I was getting hit, like this mode might have served me. So if you're in a dangerous situation, you want to be hyper-vigilant and hyper-aware. But when you get addicted to that kind of response and then you take it into situations where you don't need to be hyper-vigilant and hyper-aware, you're not being served. So one of the biggest developments in my life, I'd say over the past 13 years, is to, with discretion and depending on the situation, learn to trust certain people in authority. I can choose, I can pick and choose who I trust, and just become willing to trust. So I finally finished my conversion to Orthodox Judaism about 12 years ago. So that meant trusting to put myself through that process once again and give the rabbis power over me and allow rabbis to judge me and have my conversion hang in the balance for years and years. And I learned to trust. And then I trained to be an Alexander Technique teacher, and that was 3 years of daily training in a small room with a group of other people who I'd see for months and years on end. And I had to trust that I'd get a fair go. And I was given a fair go. I had excellent experience with my Alexander Technique teacher training, even though I was a bit obnoxious at times, even though I was careless with my opinions at time, even though I didn't put as much effort into shaping how I said things as would have benefited me. Then learning to take jobs, right? So between 1997 and 2010, I was primarily self-employed. And then over the past 11 years, at times I've taken jobs, learned to work for people, and not have an instinctive hatred for those in authority. And to sometimes at a job, learn to trust my coworkers, learn to trust employers, learn to trust clients selectively based on their own individual merits. So I'm enjoying moving into an understanding and awareness mode, kind of letting go of my instinctive reaction as the outside world's the enemy to be debunked, and anyone with power and authority is likely to use it to hurt me, and I should not allow myself to be vulnerable. Right? If you don't allow yourself to be vulnerable, you can't form friendships, you can't love people, you can't connect with people.